Hey guys, Russell 3, Salam, how y'all doing? I just beat this Chron lift, so now I'm about to go back to the hideaway. Alright, Russell 3 out. Peace.
Aye, it's a dangerous world out there. You're rubbing me blind, you know. It'd better all be here. You're rubbing me blind, you know. Is that all?
The greatest gift. It feels like a lifetime ago. It was a lifetime ago. That afternoon on Man's Hill was our very first adventure. But somehow I knew even then that it would not be our last. I'll never forget that day and the simple fact that you have not either fills my heart with joy so fierce I cannot describe it. Since the moment we first met, you have always been an important part of me. The half that makes me whole. When times are darkest, you are my light. When I am lost, you are my guiding star. You are just what I need. You're all that I need. You are my greatest gift, Jill.
What is it, Clive? You can always tell.
I still can't believe you remember that day on Man's Hill.
For so long.
Our lives have been defined by loss, but our memories, those no one can take. And they truly are the only things we can hold on to, and I want more.
So when this is over...
Let's travel the world and make new ones, and I will hoard them as a dragon does her gold. For my memories of you are the most precious of all.
Right.
Vale signboard, the emblem of the Vale. Northreach's far-famed house of ill repute. The town is the gateway to the imperial capital of Oriflame, where waves of old money and new lap against the opposing sides of the Great Wall. However, the Vale's proprietor, Isabel, knows it best as a safe haven in a storm, in a town that took in her and the man she loved when the rest of the world shunned them. Briar's Kiss Singborn. The emblem of the Briar's Kiss, the finest forge of Dalmel, run by its puckish and precocious young forge master Lubor. You can hear both his forge and a roll of digital hair from his predecessors, the original regime Dalmel. Though the mayoralty of Dalmel, he won entirely by his own merits. Clay Harf Steinborg, the emblem of the Undying's headquarters in Tabor. The Undying are a secret society sworn to serve House Rawsville, and more particularly the dominants of the Phoenix that are born into the Rawsville line. It is their acolytes' faith in the Phoenix that will gladly surrender their lives if it should be for the benefit of their master. Rusted Battle Archduke Elwin's helm worn in his victorious campaign to quell the Northern uprising, and later laid to rest upon his memorial stone. Now it sleeps in Clive's chambers, a constant reminder of the bravery and selfishness of the man in whose footsteps he and Zora mean to follow. Snow Daisy Garland, a fragrant diadem woven by Jill from the flowers picked on the shores of Olympus Bay. The garland rekindles memories of a more innocent time and speaks of a love that can never fade. Model airship, midst dangerous dream of flight, immortalized in miniature. Though the experiment ended in failure. Mid has allowed Clive to keep hold of the model so that once her renown has grown, he might sell the piece for an exorbitant amount of gil. Triunion Accord, signed in Port Iso by representatives from Rosaria, Damekia, and Sambrick. This mutual accord sets the stage for a new age in Storm, if not officially, then at least in spirit. Stolas Quill, Lord Master Piracy's best loved writing implement, whose ink has penned many a learned tome. It is said that the long quills of the Stolas became imbued with the wishes it hears over its long lifetime. The word is just waiting to pour out onto the page. So should the day come that Clive puts down his sword and picks up the pen, he shall not find his one and only instrumental Emily in the writer's block. Scholar's Bonnet, Vivian Nightingale's academic cap, awarded to her upon her graduation from the University of Canterbury. Now Vivian shares her learning with Clive, the gift of the bonnet serving as a pledge that so long as they remain together, her knowledge shall be as much his as it is her own. Wintermead, a gift from Gav. This potent potable is made from honey collected in the Northern Territory's short summers and fermented slowly over the next 6 moons. Despite an obvious inability to hold his drink, Gav insisted that he be allowed to share the bottle when the time comes to crack the seal. Old charged sparring sword. Clive's old sparring sword salvaged by Torgo in the aftermath of the Ironblood invasion and hidden at Clive's original hideaway. The rookery is a reminder of who Clive once was and who he has become, as well as the unbreakable bond between lifelong friends. I wonder how to get that last one. Now I'm going to continue reading. I don't know. Oh yeah, yeah.
Good morrow to you, my friend. I have a few new notes that might interest you. Now this, I believe you will find most interesting.
Reverie, an impossibly tall tower in central ash that seems to piece the very heavens. It was built by Ultima when he first arrived in Valisthea. From its heights, he examined the flow of ether from the land and thereby determined the optimum placement for the mother crystals. Sins of Dismekis, an incident in which the Fallen launched an attack and assault on the Mother Crystal Dismekis to claim its power, and in so doing stoked the ire of Ultima himself. In response, the self-proclaimed god destroyed the crystal, leaving behind both a great yawning crater and a cautionary legend that has since spread throughout Valisthea. The Dominants are but a stepping stone in the creation of Ultima's perfect vessel, Mythos. When Ultima sowed the seeds of humanity, he imbued those assigned to protect each mother crystal with an elemental affinity, a power that would amplify over generations until the icons eventually emerge. Though the memory of their power remains even after it is absorbed into Mythos, it takes an increasing toll upon their persons to summon it. Hey, no. Yeah. Hey, stop. Stop. Okay. An ancient civilization that thrived some 1,000 years before the present day, but no direct record of the fallen remains. Early legends in the modern corpus speak of them as the mean of magic tech, the pinnacle of whose magical technology was an airship, enormous cities that soared through the skies. Comparisons of the ruins of these airships and other ancient structures connected to Ultima reveal slight but marked differences, suggesting that the former is but a close copy of the latter. Alas, it seems their pursuit of Ultima's most closely guarded secrets led to their downfall when they sent their fleet against Desmekis and ushered in the tragedy that saw their civilization fall. So I guess they base themselves off Ultima. The Ultima Civilization, the ancient civilization of the godlike Ultima Collective. Their discovery of magic helped them to thrive, but came at a terrible cost. The onset of the Blight, after their cities fell and their people perished, the few survivors fled to the untouched land of Valisthea to lay the groundwork for their future revival. The apothecary beneath Phoenix Gate and the Tower of the Reverie and Reload are both relics of their civilization and far predate those of the fallen. A radiant stone, a mysterious ceramic tablet that stands in the hideaway. Though it closely resembles a relic of the fallen, the way in which it reacts to Clive's presence and urges him to unlock his hidden potential shares some connection to Ultima. It's likely that this stone, as well as other towers of similar construction that dot the landscapes, were created by the creature before he entered his slumber in order to aid in the perfection of his vessel, Mythos. Obelisk, an ancient technology of the Ultima Collective, set in place upon their advent to Valisthea in order to guide the flow of ether towards the mother crystals that the land's life force might be harvested all the more readily. The obelisks are separate entities to the mother crystals themselves, so the latter's destruction does not affect the former's function. After Ultima cast Primogenesis, the resulting imbalance in the ether made these obelisks grow all the brighter. So I guess a guide the ether. So I guess they're causing ether storms, these obelisks. Children of Desmekis, the tribe who once dwelled in the lands surrounding the lost mother crystal of Desmekis. This mother crystal communicated directly with Origin, from whence Ultima kept watch on the world from his slumber, and so those people who lived around it had a close relationship with their creator and most. It was they who founded the Circle of Malleus to keep the word of their Lord and future Savior alive. After the tragedy of Desmekis and the fall of humanity, the few survivors of the children of Desmekis fled to the outer continent, where they continued to worship their god and await the day when they would join him in paradise. So Barnabas actually descended the fallen. The Savior myth. Among the teachings of the Circle of Malleus is the story that the Lord Almighty delivered unto his children a prophecy of their future salvation before hiding himself away in the heavens, a myth that lived on in many of the folk religions that would later supplant it. Though long considered to be not but a legend, it is possible that this reflects a real historical event. Ultima's final words to his humanity before he entered hibernation deep beneath Valisthea. The few remaining sources disagree on Ultima's precise wording, but on 4 points they all align: that on some future day of reckoning, the incarnation of the Lord would appear on mankind and make the world, that the advent of this incarnation would be heralded by the emergence of several heavenly servants of great might, that the Lord's faithful should rally these servants together in order to bring the incarnation to being, and that for their loyalty they will be rewarded with the greatest gladness. Okay, Ultima's thralls. Soulless, a soul's time are largely composed of ether, whose only motivation is to see that their creator's will is done. Ultima gave them life upon first arriving in Valisthea and immediately tasked them with defending the realm's shores from any outside forces that might seek to interfere in his endeavors. The deity now employs them solely to test the strength and durability of his self-proclaimed vessel, Mythos. The Journal of Moss, the Annals of Moss, the Chronicle Scholar. Valisthean history to unearth many of the buried secrets of Ultima and the Circle of Malleus. Shortly after he encountered young hypocrisy in the outer continent and inspired the boy's own pursuit of learning, Moss returned to the Twins, where his long years of wandering from ruin to relic in pursuit of the visions of Valisthea's past finally drew to a close.
What subject shall we consider today?
Leader, born a princess of the Northern Territories, Jill was made a ward of Rosaria after her father, the Silvermane's assassin raids were quelled by the duchy. She entrusted her Eikon to Clive after he was bested by King Barnabas. He might have the strength to fight their fate to the last. After the two were separated in tragic Phoenix Gate, Thor continued to search for his missing master. Thinking about anything that bore Clive sitting carrying it home to their secret hideaway. It was during one of his forays on the mainland that he encountered Sid, who took the lonely Torko in, fashioning an anklet for the lovelorn pup, which he treasures to this day. Warden of Light. Before he joined the Dragoons, Dion spent his youth studying that he might assist his father in ruling the Empire. On return from Clive and George to the highway, he's reunited with his old tutor, Hippocrates, who inspires him in him a renewed determination to bring ultimate evil to an end. Born the youngest son of a large family, he had always longed to be a big brother. However, just as his mom was ready to give birth to his sister, he had impatiently waited, and his entire family were slain by an imperial raid on his village. Now he has a new family and the members of the highway and swords to protect them where his younger self could not. Adoptive daughter of Sid, who saved her from the streets as a girl and raised her as his own. He did. The young mid follows in her father's footsteps in perfecting his design for the Mithro engine. Though she fears the completed engine might be used for ill if the designs were to fall into the wrong hands, the dream of flight that she and her father shared is too great to see consigned to the dustbin of history, and so she continues to labor that one day that dream might finally become a reality. Before meeting Sid and moving on with his band of outlaws, Hippocrates dwelled in much grander surroundings, the Imperial Palace, where he served as tutor to Prince Dion. He bears a deep and lingering affection for his former charge, and on reuniting Dion in the hideaway, presented him with a gift of a wild wyvern tail that he might be reminded of the goodness within him and not punish himself unduly. A scholar and strategist who makes her home in the hideaway, offering her insight to Clive that he might better understand the lay of the land. Once a professor at the University of Canberra, her dogged pursuit of the truth earned her the enmity of some of her less scrupulous colleagues. After learning of a plot on her life, she fled to the highway, and she has been slowly but surely warming to her new surroundings ever since. Doris, as captain of the Cursebreaker, who directs their bearer liberating operation, she learns that Chadwick, fellow bearer and brother-in-arms who helped her escape her former master, met his untimely end in the cursed depths of the bahamut dark. He died the same hero he was in life, having fought to the bitter end to save the life of a young bearer girl. Doris swears to keep fighting herself, that his legacy might live on. Ember, a Cursebreaker in training who wishes to make of himself a scout that he might follow in the footsteps of his idol Gath. Though his test did not proceed entirely smoothly, he showed enough promise to warrant being accepted into the ranks for now. The inscrutable landlord of Lost Wings Tavern. After the village was swallowed by an evil flood, he and the survivors of his Lost Wing family labored to build a new village in Gotland's Bells. However, Clive convinces him to join his uncle's triunity and put his orational skills to use, not merely in leading Lost Wing, but in restoring order to the entire realm. Proprietress of the Vale, Isabel. Proprietress of the Vale, Northreach's foremost house of Irefield. Before coming to Northreach, she was Carla, courtesan of the nobility and the crystalline dominion. However, she was forced to flee when she fell in love with a bear. The veil took them in, and though her love was not to survive, her gratitude to the people of Northreach lives on to this day. Forge Master Lubor of the Briar's Kiss finds smithing in Dalmel, a mayor of the town. After his bearerhood was revealed, he was almost driven from Dalmel by the disapproving townspeople. However, they were convinced to change their preconceptions after Lubor led the defense of the town from a horde of Akashic bandits. With the support of both the town guard and the Merchants Guild, he won the mayoralty. He and his order devote their lives to the service of the Phoenix and do not fear death, so long as it comes in the course of their duties. The Clive takes exception to what appears at first glance a pointless waste of human life. The two come to see each other eye to eye. Carlos expresses deep gratitude for the regard Clive shows his fallen comrades. Ellen Rossfield, father of Clive and Joshua. During his reign, he strove to bring an end to the mistreatment of bearers and his people's reliance on magic, a mission that he knew would meet with fierce opposition from the court nobility and would not be achievable within his lifetime, that his sons might follow in his footsteps. He fashioned for them a pair of matching armbands to give them strength when all stood against them. Together with Field Marshal Eugene Havel and Master Quidden of Lostwing, he founds the Triune, and court that sets out how the nobles' armies and commons of Valisthea shall come together to see the crisis of that blight the realm. Want of food, war, security, shelter ended, and shelter ended, and order restored. The realm, so food, war, security, and shelter, and order needs to be restored. His Eminence reported in Northreach, planning to return to town to a new capital for a new Sambrett. However, when the people rallied behind Isabel instead, he realized that he must work with the common folk, not lord over them. Only daughter to the Duke of Oriflame, who fermented revolt against her father's plans to fortify Northreach at the townspeople's expense. After the Duke is convinced of the error of his ways, the two are reconciled and pledged to work together with the people of Northreach to build a town for all her citizens. Eugene Havel, former Field Marshal of the Democratic Republic, assisted of his old friend and rival Byron Rosshill. He was convinced to return to the front lines and defense of the realm, using his old military connections to bring the dissipated armies of Valisthea back under control. Beginning since Hideaway, the Order has greatly expanded both its ranks and its operations since the move to Benumir. While Otto manages their activities, day-to-day operations are led by Doris and Cole. Potential new recruits must undergo rigorous training and pass an induction test before joining the Cursebreakers ranks. A town which once acted as a defensive gateway to Sandbreak's soil capital Oriflame, not long after the skies took a turn for the ominous and most of the old capital was lost to the naval flood. The Imperial High Cardinal arrived with designs to build a new empire, but at great cost to the citizens of Northreach. It was at this time ultimate straw descended upon the fields both north and south of the Great Wall, forcing those citizens to choose between abandoning their town or fighting and possibly dying for those they loved. The people chose the latter, and after a hard-earned victory, the High Cardinal was finally convinced to join hands with Madame Isabel, and a modicum of order was at long last restored. Dalmel, a little oasis, Dalmel offers goods, food, and respite to those travelers who make the long march through western Dalmatia's sweltering Bekroy Desert. Since the fall of Drake's Fang, however, what was once a constant flow of visitors has dried to all but a trickle, leaving the town in dire straits and tensions amongst its citizens high. When faced with a horde of Akashic bandits being at both their gates, Luber, renowned blacksmith, convinced the town guard and his league of merchants to put aside their differences and join hands to fight for their people's survival. For his accomplishment, he earned not only respect of his peers, but with the position of mayor, despite being a bearer. Karatina, a humble settlement situated in the far northern edge of western Dalmatia, Belkroy deserts. Though long abandoned by its original residents, the so-called League of Outlaws had taken up residence here for a time, but the sudden arrival of an Aphid flood rendered the bandits Akashic, all but sealing the village's fate. Bound among dark, Coliseum-like prison located immediately north of the Ravenwit walls in the Kingdom of Woe, Barristan here became the unfortunate subjects of an ambitious military endeavor designed to train untrainable beasts of war. When the kingdom fell, the warriors lost their wills to the ether. Those same bearers were left in their cells to starve, which most did. Mickelburg, a settlement situated in the south of Wollode. After being abandoned by its former residents, it became something of a gathering place for followers of a savior cult, recently arisen on Ash, leading the Undying to dispatch an investigative mission there. Garnick, an idyllic mountain village in the kingdom of Wollode, or at least what remains of it. Here, an old acquaintance of Harpocrates made his home, ultimately amassing a vast collection of rare tomes before ultimately Environment's machinations ruined the realm, Akashic, and stripped him of his very will. Damn. The Badback Conservatory, a dilapidated orphanage for bearers that sits upon a hill overlooking the burning plains of Vuttergrace. And Wollode, children who live here were not cared for, but rather experimented on, enduring harrowing tortures designed to turn them into fearless, mindless weapons, an education that few were to survive. The Savior cult, a religion that has risen in recent years in Ash and which has its basis in the Circle of Malleus, an ancient faith whose followers worship Ultima as a god. It was popularized by King Barnabas Tharmer of Wollode, who spread its prayers and rituals among his people. Believers see becoming Akashic as a means of achieving purity and of being free from torments of the moral realm. The alliance formed by Lord Byron Rossfield of the Seven High Houses and the comfort of his well-appointed mansion in Port Ezel, according to the agreement reached between those he summoned to his aid, Lord Rossfield would take charge of supplies, Field Marshal Eugene Havel of military affairs, and Quentin of Lawson would handle political affairs. With these key angles covered, they hoped to lead Valisthea forward on a path of unity, giving their home countries of Rosaria, Dalmatia, and Sunbreak, respectively, the name of the famed treaty of all but suggests itself. The famed treaty of old all but suggests itself. All now lies shattered and silent on the surface below, the immense bowl in which Clive and his allies have built their new highway being one such relic, so advanced with a fallen technology, it was nigh indistinguishable from magic, leading a historian of the early modern era to remember them as the Main of Magitech, or men of magical technology. It is mid's dream to bring this technology back to life, that humanity might take flight once more. Now there. The deluge of blood, a great war that occurred in ancient times between the few who bear their blessing and the many who do not, and ended in decisive victory for the unblessed masses and the signing of the Continental Accord, which cemented the systematic subjugation of the bare minority. It was not until 100 years later that the first icons were to emerge, the human host being named Dominance. The human host being named Dominance after the savior myth of the Circle of Malleus, which held that the Lord's return would be heralded by the appearance of his heavenly servants, most wondrous and most dominant. Such was the awesome power of these creatures that the authorities had no option but to exempt them from the systems of slavery and announce them to be something other than a lowly bear and deserving of the highest honor, lest they should side with their fellow oppressed and bring a second deluge upon the master's head. That makes sense. From his wyvern tail, from his roots is still the dye with which the bear brand is inscribed. The dye is highly poisonous when it enters the bloodstream, and so it is not uncommon for bears to lose their lives upon receiving their brand or during an inexpert attempt to remove it. while cultivated wyvern tails bear white blossoms. Those that grow in the wild adopt a purple hue. From a distance, a tome that lays bare the buried truth of the avarice and vanity of mankind. Upon its publication, the powers that be everything in their power to in their power to inherit once more along with its author. It tells the history of the bearers, those once worshipped and adored as bearers of the heavenly blessing, are even in the moniker they hold to this day, and how they came to be despised, oppressed, and enslaved by the unblessed masses. The shadowy executors seize any copy of services in order to protect humanity from the painful knowledge contained within this page, or so they claim. The executors, the shadowy cabal who control the truth of the realm by collecting and concealing any knowledge they believe should remain hidden. They appear to view themselves as guardians of humanity, protecting people from what would only cause them pain. From a distance, the shameful history of the enslavement bearers is but one of the books the executors would see expunged from the public record. Oh, that's not good. Wow, I'm a sage. Wisdom is max sage for the ages. May this knowledge live on through the generations of hypocrisy.
You are always welcome, Clive.
Now back to the main story.
Make sure you do this time. Oh, and while you're at it, Clive, if you see me dad up there, tell him we were right to leave his legacy with you.
Tell him he'll be in the front row. There's no way he'd miss this. Well, behave yourself, Mitt.
We'll see.
So, you're in charge now, Gav.
And what does Taya have to say about that? Come back before she finds out, eh?
Thank you, Yote. I'm sorry.
Your Grace, I shall pray for your safe return.
That's kind of you. But you should pray he took his medicine. I didn't spend all night grinding herbs for his lordship to leave them on his nightstand. Again.
You needn't fear, Lady Taya. And thank you.
See that your brother comes back in one piece. Or, at most, two. Any more and you can heal him yourself.
I'll keep that in mind.
Well, there's nothing to say that hasn't already been said. But that's never stopped me before, so just you do what needs doing. And don't worry about us.
We'll do our best, Uncle.
That we will. If that is all?
Not quite. Jill.
It's time, isn't it?
It is. Take care of him. And you. You take care of her too, boy.
Don't forget, Clive. We all choose our own path. Believe in yours. I do.
I'll be back. I promise. I love you, Jill.
I know. I love you too.
Now, we have a god to kill.
Here they come! Hold on, Joshua!
Already am.
going to make us a way in.
So, this is Origin.
A far cry from heaven.
Where it all began. Where it all begins. Our ark. Your architect.
There you are.
It was here that we slumbered. Here that we waited for centuries, clinging to our decrepit shell, for fear that we might have need of it once again. But you have come at last. And now we shall be truly complete.
Well, there's 3 of us and 1 of him. Let's make it count.
Dominance. We will show you what it means to suffer.
That was something.
Had you only surrendered, this unpleasantness could have been avoided. We have you.
Deal. Go! Save your brother! I ask not for acceptance, only forgiveness! Now, Father, it is done. Clive! Clive! No! Thank the Founder. Did I mention you look terrible?
That makes two of us.
Oh, I'll be all right.
And Dion. Take my hand.
No, I told you, I'll be...
Come on.
Thank you.
Press on.
Always.
I'm sorry about Dion.
Don't be. Please. He did what he had to do.
And it's time we did the same.
Alright guys, that's all I for this one here. Brunstein 3 out. Thanks for watching. Dana Huna.